you've also been pretty outspoken about AI, right? Like, it's like, so there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
Like
There's no limit.
There's no limit.
I mean,
like in our business, there's a lot of, I would say on the creative side, there's a lot of apprehension, resistance. People are not thrilled with the idea.
No, it should be the opposite.
But they're not, because what the reason, one of the main reasons is that, you know, like studios, for instance, could and have had AI do treatments, write-ups of things, where writers then see this as like a threat.
No, because you still need to be able to tell a story.
Yeah.
And you still need to know the beginning, middle, and end.
True.
And you still need to know your audience. And AI can propose a million things in a second, but then somebody's got to go through and decide what they're going to put their money into.
Right.
AI is not going to, hit your bank account and then produce a movie for you, produce a podcast or whatever.
Sure.
And using the technology, you guys could extend. So like, have you guys looked at NotebookLM?
No.
Oh my God. So bring up NotebookLM, the podcast feature.
Okay.
It is insane. So literally, like you've got your rundown list, you could feed your rundown list into it and have it go look up things and do summaries of all those things, and then have it create a podcast.
What?
And the podcast sounds like real.
Wait, I don't understand. So like I'm into listening to an advice podcast. I'm listening to Joe Rogan. I'm listening to whatever, murder podcast. And it mashes the three together?
No. So like you just want to do a general podcast like this about all the different topics, like a traditional radio show type thing, right? And you take your rundown list like you guys have.
And
right. Like you guys had all your topics.
I see what you're saying.
Sorry. And so all your topics,
Got
right?
you.
And then you send it out and say, do the homework on these with
we should do that.
And then put it in there, and it'll have these two people talking just like we're talking.
My God.
Oh, and it's insane. It's insane. Like for business, it's great because like you can take your training manuals, your onboarding manuals, all these different things. And because kids particularly, they don't want to read, they just want to listen. So you can be walking, taking your walk or on a bike or whatever, and listening to, your training guidelines that sounds like a regular podcast and they make it entertaining. But that sounds kind of scary on one end. But you can start training it to do the things that you want it to do with your voices. So if you wanted to pick the topics and fill in the information you want discussed in this podcast, instead of having one and all, the shows the way you have now, you can add 1,000 of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just.
What's this? This is an actual audio example of it?
Ever feel like you're just drowning in information?
Oh, tell me about it.
These are the two
Talking
people.
research papers, articles,
Yeah.
like even a
It's
whole
our show,
shelf
Tom.
of books on one topic.
Right.
And you just need to like get a handle on it all.
It's a struggle.
Yeah. And there's got to be a better way.
Oh, there definitely is.
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
NotebookLM.
Interesting.
Oh my God.
It's this
Zolo.
experimental AI research assistant thing Google's come up with.
Really fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's not just
I
about
mean,
organizing
literally,
all
so
that
you know,
data.
these are not real people.
Right. These
No.
are AI voices.
These are AI voices that could be your
Let's do
voice.
a YMH one.
We should do a
with
full
our
episode.
stupid topics.
Yeah.
When you're in London, we just put out this.
Yeah.
Our rundown.
I actually
Tom
like
took a
this
shit
idea.
today.
It's insane.
Do you then, I mean, it feels like the natural thing for anybody in business to do is figure out how AI can help these different parts,
Yes,
right?
I mean, look what you're using right now, right? So, you guys have been in radio in the industry forever,
Yeah.
right? And think going back when you had your first, it used to be they played records.
Yeah.
And there was a DJ that just spoke. And then all of a sudden there were the different playback systems, right?
Yeah.
And then you had editing, and then, the DJs were editing right on the spot, different songs. Technology's influenced every industry always. And, it's no different now, but the difference is like going back to PCs and then software and going from analog to digital, you could try and kind of extrapolate where things were going. With AI, there's no way you would have anticipated what we just heard.
Right.
And it goes into a zillion different directions.
Are you investing heavily in AI?
Yeah, I mean, but more importantly, just trying to learn it.
Learn what the possibilities are.
Right, because like for kids, they're going to grow up, this will be native to them.
Yeah.
For us, we've got to put in the effort to learn. But like on my Instagram feed now, it used to be, sports, business, but whatever. Now it's AI hack, new AI software, because it's changing so rapidly. But to me, it's fun.
It's fun to learn.
Yeah, it's
That's
fun.
very cool. We should have fun with that.
You
know,
can,
we
right?
can.
So we're taking a break. Now we have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
You know what's interesting? I'm listening to you speak and the way that your mind works. It seems to me that you're always looking towards the future. Like you're looking for what's undiscovered yet.
Yeah.
Is that how your business mind works?
100%. Yeah. No, you first want to bring it up. Steve Jobs said everything is a remix. Right? Where you take what's already in place and then you add whatever value you can add to it to get it to the next place. You know, when we started AudioNet, which was the first streaming company, it was like, okay, here's the internet, and here's how we listen to Indiana basketball over distances because the internet solves that. You know, HD, well, here's high definition. It's all going, TV's going digital. And even though the first high definition televisions in 2001, when we started HDNet, were $25,000 for a screen like that.
God.
I knew the price was coming down.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just a question of when. Now with AI, it's not a question of if it's going to change things. The only question is how.
How,
And who's going to do it.
And so by informing yourself, you can
I can figure it
on-
out.
Yeah.
I can stay ahead. So I can say, okay, this is how this works. So now, like what we just talked about, once I saw NotebookLM and the podcast feature, it wasn't, okay, what's going to happen to podcasters? It was, where are there situations where people don't want to read, but like to consume information via audio and or video? Because when you talk to kids today, they're not big readers.
Yeah.
You know, your kids are, as much as you're going to want them to read,
Yeah.
more stuff is going to be, it's different,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not that they're not learning,
Yeah.
it's that they're learning differently.
Yeah.
Right. And so for kids who are learning differently, what can we do?
I like that.
I like this too.
I like that idea, especially shit that you don't want to read, like manuals
Well,
to
no,
technical
exactly right.
things.
Well, even, you know, stuff like to get your rundown. So you
Yeah.
literally could use NotebookLM and or just Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever, and they have just, you can just list it and just say, do me a research summary of all these topics using the latest news. Like ChatGPT has these task features where they'll go out and they'll look it up, just like Google Alerts would work. And you can have them summarize it for all the topics you're interested in. Or you can say, give me the hottest 20 topics that are being discussed across the internet, and see what it comes back with to see, make sure you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
Right. Because it takes time for you to research all this,
Yes.
and
For sure.
you've got to dig in and you've got all your sources.
Having a research assistant seems like
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, and it'll save you so much time. And so learning how to use these things. Okay, what are the number one trending topics on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Instagram? What are the number one hashtags on Instagram and
you
on
do
TikTok?
this? This is how you do your research? You
No,
find it?
but I could.
Yeah.
I want to know what allows me to do it. And so when I'm trying to look at an industry or a company, or I'm doing something, then I'll go on there and now the research capabilities are just blowing up. It's moving so fast. So there's tools like deep research. And I'll say, okay, tell me about this company. Now it doesn't get everything.
right. But it gets
But it's just like if you hired a research assistant, they're not going to get everything, right? So if you have an intern here or whoever, and you're like your social media, whoever, your producers, and you say, find me all the hot topics, and then you say, oh, I just heard about this, I was listening, or I saw this, and you add to it, it's no different. It's not going to be 100%,
but it
saves you time.
that's true.
Dang, dude. Oh, you just watched a YMH highlight. Did you love it? Why don't you have more fun? Click around. Click here, click there, click everywhere. Put a clicker in your beehole. Look, try it out. Have more fun. Why don't you subscribe? That way, every time a video drops, you can be notified. You don't have to think about it. Just do it, man. You're not going to miss a moment of denim. Pull your jeans up, subscribe.